On a Sunday morning, I emerged from my white colonial home in Tampa's upscale Davis Island neighborhood, feeling the weight of my 8-month pregnant belly as I moved with surprising grace. My emerald green maternity dress caught the Florida sunlight, making me feel radiant despite my exhaustion. Mason held my arm supportively as we made our way to First Presbyterian Church of Tampa, his touch both comforting and necessary as my center of balance had shifted dramatically in recent months. "Good morning, Vivian. Not long now. How are the baby preparations coming along?" My church friends surrounded me with warm hugs and excited smiles at the entrance, their genuine excitement washing over me like a warm wave. This pregnancy was my miracle after 7 years of marriage and countless fertility treatments that had left both my body and heart scarred. Every injection, every disappointment, every tear shed in doctors' offices had led to this precious life growing inside me. "Yes, it still feels like a dream that our family will be growing soon," I smiled, placing my hand protectively over my belly, feeling a flutter of movement that still made my heart leap with joy. Beside me, Mason beamed with pride, his expensive suit and perfect smile projecting the image of the successful husband. As a senior manager at a real estate development company, he had contributed significantly to Tampa's growth and had carefully cultivated his reputation as a trusted figure in our church community. During the service, I felt tears spring to my eyes as the pastor offered a special prayer and the congregation responded with heartfelt amens to the words, "Lord, please protect this new life." My heart felt so full it might burst. Though I prided myself on maintaining analytical detachment as a senior insurance risk analyst. These pregnancy hormones had stripped away my professional composure, leaving my emotions raw and close to the surface. After the service, Mason and I enjoyed lunch at Burn's Steakhouse. I spread out the birth preparation lists on the table beside the chef's special beef tenderloin, reviewing each item with careful attention to detail, which had served me well in my career. Mason kept conversation away from his work troubles, focusing instead on our future as parents. "The birth plan is perfect. Dr. Crawford has given us her full approval that everything's progressing well. I trust you completely. You're going to be a wonderful mother," Mason spoke softly, reaching across the table to hold my hand, his face showing nothing but devotion. His gesture brought fresh tears to my eyes, the genuine emotion catching me off guard. In the afternoon, we wandered through International Plaza for some final shopping. At the baby store, Mason carefully examined each stuffed animal with surprising seriousness, weighing each option as though making a critical business decision. "How about this white rabbit? It could be the baby's first friend." That evening, I sat alone in our bedroom looking through an album of our journey. Photos from countless hospital visits during fertility treatments, beautiful flowers Mason had given me after each painful egg retrieval, and the positive pregnancy test I'd stared at in disbelief after years of negatives, all had become treasured milestones in our struggle. The photo from the day we confirmed this pregnancy captured both of us crying with unrestrained joy, Mason's arms wrapped tightly around me as though I might float away with happiness. The following weekend, my mom Evelyn came to check on us, bringing her nurturing presence into our home like a familiar comfort. The aroma of homemade apple pie filled the house, reminding me of childhood moments when everything felt safe and certain. "Vivian, your nursery is absolutely lovely," my mom exclaimed, her experienced nurse's eyes taking in every thoughtful detail with appreciation. The clean white-based space was accented with gentle pastel colors that seemed to glow with anticipation for the baby's arrival. A mobile swayed gently in the breeze from the ceiling while hand-painted animals smiled sweetly from the walls, creating a sanctuary of childhood wonder. Mason took time off to help prepare everything. He even painted the murals himself, I explained, feeling a surge of gratitude for his dedication to our child. "He'll surely be a wonderful dad. I can feel your love for each other filling this room." Mom's words wrapped around my heart, giving me a profound sense of happiness that brought tears to my eyes. With just 3 weeks until my delivery at Tampa General Hospital, preparations for welcoming our new life were steadily progressing, each completed task bringing us closer to meeting our miracle. At dusk, I stepped into our backyard, seeking a moment of quiet reflection. The sea breeze from St. Pete Beach gently caressed my cheeks, carrying the salt-tinged air that had become part of my identity since moving to Tampa. The bougainvillea in the garden was in full bloom, its vibrant pink petals capturing the golden light of the setting sun in a display that seemed created just for this moment. That night, lying in bed with my hands cradling my belly, I said a silent prayer that came straight from my soul. "Dear Lord, please let this child grow up healthy, and please let these happy days continue." Outside the window, Florida's night breeze seemed to softly bless the new life about to begin, carrying my prayer up to the star-filled sky. Feeling the small life's movements within me, those precious flutters and kicks that had once seemed an impossible dream, I drifted into peaceful sleep with a smile on my lips. One April morning, I woke to sudden intense contractions that rippled through my body like waves of fire. The clock showed 3:15 a.m., its red numbers glowing in the darkness of our bedroom. Through the window, Tampa's skyline was still dark, a silhouette of sleeping buildings against the night sky. I shook Mason, who had been dozing in the armchair by the bedside, and grabbed my pre-packed hospital bag, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and fear. "Are you all right? Should we head to the hospital?" Mason asked, concern etched across his face as he jumped to his feet. "Yes, I think so," I replied, breathing through another contraction that gripped my body. While tracking the timing with my phone app, I calmly assessed the situation, my mind automatically calculating intervals and duration. Perhaps due to my profession as a risk analyst, I could still make clear judgments even as my body was being overtaken by this primal process. The streets of Davis Islands were silent in the dead of night, our journey witnessed only by streetlights and shadows. Mason's black Mercedes glided past the bougainvillea hedges, heading toward Tampa General Hospital, his knuckles white against the steering wheel. On the way, I called my mom, my voice tight with concentration. "Mom, the contractions have started," I informed her, another wave beginning to build. "I'll be right there. Don't worry." Mom reassured me, her voice instantly shifting to the calm, professional tone of her nursing days. At the hospital, Dr. Crawford was already waiting, her familiar presence immediately comforting me. She had supported me through 7 years of fertility treatments, her belief in my dream never wavering when mine had faltered. "You've done well, Vivian. It looks like it's time to meet your baby," Dr. Crawford said warmly, her eyes crinkling with genuine happiness for me. The delivery room was a spacious private suite specially prepared for the birth, feeling more like a sanctuary than a hospital room. Through the large windows, Tampa Bay was visible in the pre-dawn light, the water still and dark with promise. A crucifix hung on the wall, beneath which fresh white lilies were arranged, their scent subtly perfuming the clinical air. "Contractions are 4 minutes apart. Cervical dilation is progressing normally," the midwife explained in professional terms, her voice carrying the confidence of years of experience and countless births. At 6 a.m., Mom arrived carrying a bundle of prayer cards from our church friends, her face flushed from rushing. "Everyone at First Presbyterian is praying for you," she told me, squeezing my hand with a strength that seemed to flow directly into me. My eyes welled up at my mom's words, the love of our community washing over me in a wave of emotion. Though the contractions grew stronger, each one more intense than the last, the support around me helped transform the pain into purpose. "Keep your breathing steady." "Yes, you're doing very well," Dr. Crawford encouraged, her calm voice anchoring me through the storm of sensations. Time passed in a blur as I followed Dr. Crawford's instructions, surrendering to this ancient process my body somehow knew how to complete. Outside the window, the sunrise began painting Tampa Bay in golden hues, nature's own celebration of what was about to happen. "Vivian, you'll be fine. We're here with you," Mom held my hand, offering words of encouragement that carried the weight of her own experience. Mason silently rubbed my back, his hands betraying slight tension even as his face remained composed, occasionally checking his phone when he thought I wouldn't notice. After 9 a.m., the contractions became more frequent, my body working with a determination that seemed separate from my conscious mind. "Vivian, it's time to move to the delivery room," Dr. Crawford's voice brought focus to the room, her words electrifying everyone present. The delivery room was a sterile space equipped with the latest medical technology, intimidating yet reassuring in its readiness. Soft lighting designed for relaxation illuminated the ceiling while monitors on the wall tracked the baby's heartbeat, the steady rhythm the soundtrack to this moment. "You'll meet your baby soon. Keep going," Dr. Crawford encouraged, her face a picture of concentration and compassion. Mom had to wait outside the delivery room, her absence suddenly making me feel vulnerable despite the team around me. Inside, Dr. Crawford led a team of 4 medical staff who began moving efficiently, a choreographed dance they had performed hundreds of times before. "Take deep breaths. I can see the baby's head," the doctor instructed, her voice steady and sure. Despite the intense pain with each contraction tearing through me, I remained fully conscious, determined to experience every moment of this miracle. After 7 years of waiting, even this pain felt precious, each sensation a reminder that my impossible dream was becoming reality. One more push. You can do it. Dr. Crawford's voice rang out, galvanizing my last reserves of strength. In that moment, the baby's first cry filled the delivery room, the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard in my life. Congratulations! It's a healthy baby boy, Dr. Crawford announced, her professional composure briefly giving way to genuine joy. Dr. Crawford gently cleaned the baby and placed him on my chest, his tiny body warm against my skin. The warmth of this tiny life enveloped my whole body in happiness, a feeling so profound it seemed to rewrite everything I knew about love. I gazed at my child through tears, memorizing every detail of his perfect face. The baby, as if already recognizing his mother's voice, had stopped crying and showed a peaceful expression that melted my heart completely. That's when it happened, the moment that shattered everything in a single breath. We need a DNA test, a cold voice suddenly cut through the air, slicing through my bubble of perfect happiness. Mason was staring at the baby with an icy gaze that I had never seen before, his eyes alien and calculating. I need to confirm if this is definitely my child, he demanded, his voice devoid of any emotion I recognized. The atmosphere in the delivery room froze, time itself seeming to stop in the wake of those unthinkable words. I held my baby tightly while looking up at my husband, my eyes reflecting disbelief at this incomprehensible reality, shining with overflowing tears of confusion and hurt. What do you mean? My voice trembled as I asked, but Mason's expression remained cold, a mask I couldn't penetrate. My mom, who had been waiting outside the delivery room, noticed something was wrong and came in, her instincts as both a mother and nurse immediately on alert. When she grasped the situation, her expression changed completely, the warm grandmother replaced by a fierce protector. Have you lost your mind? Are you trying to insult my daughter and grandchild? Mom's angry voice echoed through the room, her body physically positioning itself between Mason and us. Dr. Crawford, sensing the situation, immediately gave instructions to her staff, her professional authority reasserting control over the chaos. Mr. Reynolds, we can discuss this matter later. Right now, the mother and baby's rest is our priority, her tone left no room for argument. Mason didn't respond, his silence more chilling than any words could have been. However, his expression showed no regret, no awareness of the devastation he had just caused. Rather, his eyes held a calculating look as if confirming a plan he was about to execute, something prepared and waiting for this exact moment. I silently continued gazing at my baby, who slept peacefully against my chest, as if completely removed from the ugly events unfolding in this world he had just entered. Mom sat beside me, holding my shoulders firmly, her presence a shield against what was happening. It's okay. I'm here with you, she comforted me, though we both knew nothing was okay anymore. 3 days after the birth, Dr. Crawford sat in her office staring at the DNA test results, her brow furrowed with concentration. In her 30-plus years as an obstetrician, she had never encountered such a perplexing situation that made her stomach knot with professional concern. This is strange, she frowned, rechecking the test data displayed on her monitor, her eyes narrowing as she spotted patterns that triggered her instincts. The data showed clear abnormalities that stood out to her experienced eye like red flags. The threshold values between positive and negative results were completely different from the normal range, deviating in ways that defied scientific explanation. Just then, there was a knock at the door that pulled her from her intense analysis. I opened the door, my body still aching from childbirth, but my heart full of a fierce new love. Though showing signs of postpartum fatigue, my demeanor as I held my baby radiated the unmistakable maternal love that had transformed me from the inside out. Dr. Crawford, the results, my voice trembled slightly, betraying the fear that had been gnawing at me since Mason's cruel demand. Behind me stood my mom Evelyn, her protective presence giving me strength I desperately needed. Dr. Crawford guided us to a comfortable sofa in the corner of her office, furthest from the windows where we could speak privately. The walls were adorned with numerous awards telling the story of her distinguished career. Next to which hung photos of babies whose births she had attended, evidence of her involvement in over 3,000 new lives over 30 years of dedicated service. There are unnatural aspects to these results, Dr. Crawford carefully chose her words as she began her explanation, her tone measured but concerned. Doctor, I began, my voice rising with emotion. Vivian, I've been your doctor for 7 years. I know your integrity better than anyone, the doctor's voice carried unwavering trust that brought tears to my eyes. Mom silently squeezed my hand, her touch communicating support more powerful than words. Actually, something has been bothering me since last night. Dr. Crawford stood up and began walking around her office, her movements betraying her agitation. Through the window, a cruise ship could be seen docked in Tampa Bay, tourists enjoying their carefree vacation while my world was falling apart. Beyond it, the Florida sun shone brightly, indifferent to the storm raging in my heart. The lab technician reported some suspicious findings. Unusual access logs were found in the laboratory system, she explained, her words sending a chill through me. She returned to her desk and showed us the computer screen, pointing to details that even my analysts I could recognize as irregular. Look here. This is the pattern of normal test data. The screen displayed comparison graphs with past test results, their patterns forming clear baselines. And this is the current result. There's clearly an unnatural bias. The visual evidence made my heart pound with a mixture of anger and vindication. The graph's abnormality was obvious even without medical expertise, the deviation so extreme it couldn't possibly be natural. But why? In response to my whispered question, Dr. Crawford let out a deep sigh that seemed to come from her very soul. I asked the system administrator to investigate thoroughly. She typed on her keyboard, opening a new screen filled with technical data that told a disturbing story. Last night, there was external access to the laboratory system, and immediately after that, parts of the data were altered. Her words hung in the air like a thundercloud. A heavy silence fell over the office, broken only by my baby's soft breathing against my chest. The baby was sleeping peacefully in my arms, blissfully unaware of the betrayal surrounding his entry into the world. There's more that concerns me. Dr. Crawford pulled a document from her desk drawer, her movements precise and deliberate. This is from the hospital security cameras. Last night, a suspicious person was seen near the laboratory. My heart began to race, already knowing what I would see. Though the security camera image was unclear, it showed a tall man in a suit, a familiar silhouette that made my blood run cold. Mom gasped, her hand flying to her mouth in shock. It looks very similar to Mason, she exclaimed, anger flashing in her eyes as the pieces fell into place. Dr. Crawford's voice maintained its composure but carried a hint of anger that betrayed her personal investment in this situation. But that's not all, she scrolled the screen further, revealing another layer to this disturbing plan. Ethan Forrester, our lab technician, made an interesting statement this morning. A few days ago, someone approached him offering $500,000 in cash to falsify the test data. The sum made me dizzy with its implications. The color drained from my face as I realized the extent of Mason's betrayal and the calculated nature of his plan. Ethan refused the offer and immediately reported it to his supervisor. However, he started receiving anonymous threatening emails afterward. The courage of this stranger who stood up for truth when he didn't even know me brought tears to my eyes. Dr. Crawford walked to the window, looking down at Tampa's cityscape, her reflection showing a woman whose professional ethics were being deeply challenged. She strengthened her resolve, straightening her shoulders as she turned back to us. This is clearly criminal. Falsifying medical records is a serious offense. We cannot overlook this. She turned to face us, her expression leaving no room for doubt. We should call the police. Clear fraud has been committed. Her words gave voice to the action my heart demanded. At that moment, my phone rang with a familiar notification sound that now felt like a violation. A message from Mason appeared on the screen, "Let me know as soon as the DNA test results are out." The casual tone made my stomach turn with disgust. Mom, holding my shoulders with protective firmness, nodded to Dr. Crawford, her expression hardened with resolve. "Please call the police." Her voice carried the authority of a mother protecting her child and grandchild. Dr. Crawford picked up the hospital's internal phone, her movements deliberate and confident. Her hand holding the receiver was supported by the firm resolve built over 30 years of her career defending mothers and babies. Outside the window, Tampa was bustling with life, oblivious to our private drama. The Riverwalk was crowded with tourists, modern office buildings and the calm bay beyond creating a picture of normalcy that felt surreal against our situation. In this peaceful scene, events that would change my family's life were quietly but surely unfolding, a small drama against the backdrop of a city that would continue regardless. Dr. Crawford put down the phone and turned to me, her expression softening as she looked at my son. Your baby is undoubtedly yours and Mason's child. To prove this, we must reveal the truth. Her voice carried both professional pride and personal sense of justice that I desperately needed to hear. The truth will always come to light. Those words echoed quietly in the morning office as we waited for the Tampa police to arrive, clinging to them like a lifeline. The three of us held in our hearts the resolve for the battle that was about to begin, united by bonds stronger than the betrayal we faced. In the interrogation room at Tampa Police Headquarters, Detective Camila Rodriguez sat across from Mason, her posture relaxed but alert. A large mirror was mounted on the wall, behind which Dr. Crawford watched, her heart pounding with anger. Let me confirm again. Where were you between 11:15 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. last night? Camila's voice remained composed, though her eyes were sharp with focus. I was at home, Mason answered while adjusting his expensive suit collar. His gesture exuded the confidence of a senior manager accustomed to controlling every room. Camila pulled out a photograph, placing it deliberately in front of Mason. It showed a figure captured by the hospital security camera, timestamp visible. This angle clearly shows your characteristics. Isn't this you? Her question hung in the air. Mason tensed momentarily before quickly composing himself. It just looks similar. That's not me. Then how do you explain this? She showed Ethan Forrester's witness statement. Offered $500,000 in cash to falsify DNA test results. The statement detailed specific dates, locations, and conversations. Mr. Forrester clearly identifies you. Mason's lips trembled slightly, his facade cracking. His testimony is credible, Camila continued, presenting email records. Multiple threatening emails were sent to Mr. Forrester from your company's IP address. Furthermore, the unauthorized access to the hospital system could only have happened with your IT specialist's cooperation. Mason's composure vanished as his plan crumbled. He said, I exercise my right to remain silent. I want my lawyer. Before that, one more thing. Camila produced bank transaction records. Last week you transferred $5 million overseas. Hiding assets for divorce. Mason's attitude changed completely, his mask falling away. Under questioning, Mason finally confessed. To frame Vivian for adultery. If the DNA test showed it wasn't my child, I wouldn't have to pay alimony. I could start a new life with Olivia. Olivia. Yes, my secretary. Young and beautiful, nothing like Vivian. Camila questioned him, so you tried to frame your innocent wife by falsifying results? That's right. I couldn't let Vivian take my assets if I was going to live with Olivia. In the observation room, Dr. Crawford clenched her fists, barely containing her anger. The hospital's legal counsel took furious notes beside her. This is criminal, attempted medical record falsification, threats, fraud. We'll pursue substantial civil damages. Mason continued, each word damning himself further. I don't care about Vivian anymore. 7 years of fertility treatments, I just went along with it. Olivia could give me a child right away. Mr. Reynolds, are you saying your love for your wife and newborn were all lies? Mason sneered, business requires no emotion. Marriage is just business. Suddenly, footsteps approached in the hallway. The door opened and Olivia appeared, stylishly dressed but visibly nervous. Olivia. Mason exclaimed, color draining from his face. Olivia said, I told the police everything, how you instructed me to contact Ethan, how you planned the data falsification, everything. Let's end this, Mason. I cannot be part of framing an innocent person. The DNA test results have been verified, Camila announced quietly. The baby is undoubtedly your biological child. You tried to deny your own flesh and blood. Mason Reynolds, you are under arrest. Dr. Crawford sighed deeply, releasing weeks of tension. Now Vivian and the baby's honor has been protected. In the hallway, media gathered to capture a prominent figure's downfall. But Dr. Crawford's concern lay elsewhere. I pray that Vivian and the baby's emotional wounds will heal. Through the windows, the sun set over St. Petersburg in hues of gold and crimson. It signaled both the end of one family story and the beginning of another. In the spring of 2026, 2-year-old Noah Reynolds runs around the garden in the quiet residential area of Davis Islands, his laughter carrying on the warm Florida breeze. I watch over him tenderly from a rocking chair on the veranda, my heart swelling with a joy I once thought impossible. "Noah, it's snack time." At my call, Noah responds with a bright smile that illuminates my world. His eyes shine with a brilliance that reflects the innocence he's managed to maintain despite the chaos that surrounded his birth. The events of 2 years ago certainly left deep scars that still occasionally ache when least expected. However, my son and I have now begun walking a new path in life, each day a little stronger than the last. At First Presbyterian Church of Tampa, I've taken on a central role in the parenting support group that meets after Sunday services, finding healing and helping others. My experience serves as inspiration for women in similar situations of betrayal and recovery. God never gives us trials we cannot overcome. My words in the support group carry the deep conviction of someone who has lived through fire and emerged transformed. People from all around Tampa come to hear my story, finding hope in the possibility of rebuilding after devastation. My professional life is also fulfilling in ways I never anticipated. My analytical skills at the insurance company have become even sharper, and my proposals for family-related insurance products drawing from my personal experience are highly valued. Your proposals show a real understanding of the risks modern families face. These words from my supervisor gave me genuine confidence in my professional worth beyond my personal identity. My mom comes to see Noah every weekend, her presence a constant support in our lives. Watching her grandson grow has become her greatest joy after the pain we've shared. "Mom, look." Noah learned another new word. The bond between mother and daughter has grown even stronger since that incident, forged in the fire of shared adversity. Dr. Crawford still regularly checks on Noah and me, her medical care extending to emotional healing. Her reputation at Tampa General Hospital has grown even more as a doctor who stood firm for justice against powerful interests. The hospital's security system has been significantly enhanced, and their medical record protection system has become one of the best in the nation as a direct result of our case. That decision back then was the right one, she remains convinced of this, her ethical stand vindicated. Meanwhile, Mason's end was pitiful, his calculated plan resulting in his own downfall. He received a 2-year prison sentence for attempted medical record falsification, intimidation, and other charges, serving his time in a Tampa prison among those he once considered beneath him. His real estate development license was revoked, and he was immediately fired from his company, his carefully built career crumbling overnight. Ironically, his mistress Olivia disappeared right after the incident, her promised future with Mason abandoned. Rumors later circulated that she had started a new life at a startup in Miami, reinventing herself far from the scandal. "I failed to see that man's true nature," Olivia said in a local newspaper interview months later. "But I'm glad I made the right choice in the end. I couldn't be part of ruining Vivian and Noah's lives." Her testimony played a crucial role in the trial, her courage redeeming something of her involvement. In prison, Mason showed no signs of rehabilitation, his narcissism preventing any genuine reflection. No one came to visit him, and he spent his time in solitary confinement, isolated physically as he had been emotionally. Even his former colleagues began denying any association with him, distancing themselves from his disgrace. "I want nothing to do with someone who would commit such a despicable act," became the common refrain. His reputation in Tampa's real estate industry was destroyed, making any comeback virtually impossible. Detective Rodriguez has begun using this case as the dark side of modern families in her lectures at the police academy. "I want to teach young police officers about the foolishness of betraying family for money and desire," she explains with passion. Her lectures have left a strong impression on many aspiring police officers, the real-world consequences more impactful than theoretical ethics. The city of Tampa learned much from that incident, the very public fall of a prominent citizen serving as a cautionary tale. The importance of family bonds, medical ethics, and justice became deeply ingrained in the hearts of many who followed the case. The church community continues to warmly support Noah and me, their faith in action healing what their prayers began. Every Sunday after service, smiles abound as people gather around Noah, their affection a protective circle of love. "This child is God's greatest gift," I often say, my words carrying deep love and gratitude that transcends the pain of his beginnings. The shocking events of 2 years ago were certainly a great trial that tested every part of who I am. However, overcoming them has made me an even stronger and more compassionate mother, capable of depths of love I never knew existed. Noah grows up healthy, surrounded by my unwavering love and the support of a community that stood by us. He doesn't yet know about the events that occurred at the beginning of his life, but his innocent smile continues to heal the hearts of the adults around him who do. Justice always prevails. Mom's words carry very convincing weight as we watch Noah play in the sunshine. Like the sunlight shining down on Tampa, a bright future awaits my son and me beyond the shadows of the past. The spring breeze gently sways the street trees in Davis Islands, nature's rhythm continuing regardless of human drama. In the dappled sunlight, Noah runs around innocently, his movements full of the pure joy of childhood. I watch him quietly, savoring my happiness with a mindfulness born of knowing how precious and fragile it can be. Our new life has already taken its first steady steps forward, one day at a time, toward a future full of possibility.